I've had the OnePlus Open for a little bit over 6 months now. Let's see how it's holding up. Okay, so personally, I'm kind of torn between this phone. I have a love-hate relationship with this phone, and I'll tell you why. Because it actually has very little to do with the phone itself. So, little backstory for you guys. Bought the phone about a month after it released. I used it for a couple months, and then in December, the inner screen, the folding screen, broke. It actually ripped and teared. So I had to send it back to OnePlus through their customer service. And let me just tell y'all, I had the worst customer service experience that anyone could probably possibly have. So my repair took almost 2 months for my phone to get back to me. Now, because of that, I was starting to wonder if the phone was actually worth holding on to just because of how much of a headache the customer service was, especially if the phone broke again in regards to the internal screen. I'm happy to say that it hasn't. I pray every single day that it doesn't. And I'll tell you why I pray every single day that it doesn't. It's because this is my favorite phone. This is the best phone I have ever used in my entire life. And I'll tell you why. It's not because it's the fastest phone in the world, because now we have Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and this one's rocking last year's 8 Gen 2 or anything like that, but it perfectly fits my needs in ways that other phones can't. So, for example, I live in the US. This is the only phone in the United States that's folding and supports the form factor that I'm looking for, because the other two competitors are the Pixel Fold, which is just too small and wide, and then you have the Samsung Z Fold, which is too tall and slim. This one actually has the perfect form factor, as well as when you open it up, it also has a lack of crease as well. The crease is pretty much almost impossible to see when it's fully opened up, as opposed to the Z Fold 5, which is very noticeable in terms of the crease. It's pretty much similar to the crease of the Z Flip 5, which I have as well. Now, like I said, when it comes to the performance, it's no slouch either. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. The great thing about this phone is its multitasking, especially how OnePlus created specific features for its multitasking, which is really good for me. Something that you guys don't know about me is I have ADHD, which means I like doing multiple things at once, and this really helps with that. I can watch YouTube videos while reading emails while checking calendar while messaging people on Discord. This phone is great for that. So that's the reason why I chose a folding phone in the first place. It just really scratches my itch for me to constantly be doing either two things at one time or just hyper focusing on one thing at a time, which the, unfolded bigger screen helps with as well. And another thing that I really like that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is the camera. But it's the specific features that the camera has that I feel like are overlooked, that aren't talked about in most reviews. Now, when I'm talking about the camera, specifically, I'm talking about one main feature, which is the zoom. This zoom blew my mind. So it has, I think, is 120 times zoom, which is the equivalent to those, extremely zoomed in capabilities of a Samsung flagship phone as well. I took pictures of the moon, and I was able to zoom in and take the photos of the full moon. iPhones can't even do that. So the fact that this even has that same zoom capability as the Samsung flagship blows my mind, especially for it being on a folding phone, which is crazy. The other thing that I like about this phone is, specifically on the black model, at least, it has a leather backing, which makes it really great for grip. It makes it a lot less easier to fall out of my pockets. Whenever I put it down, it stays there. I think the only gripe, now that we're talking about the back of the phone, is that it doesn't have wireless charging. This is actually something that's a huge deal for me, because I do use wireless charging quite often for my other devices. But hopefully in OnePlus's next iteration, it'll come with wireless charging. Okay, let's just say this. This phone is pretty much perfect for me, with the exception of two things. If OnePlus fixes these two things, this will be the perfect phone, in my opinion. And those two things would be upping the IPX water rating. So it's not IPX, just splash proof. It can be like fully submerged for a certain period of time, as well as wireless charging. If it has that, it'll be perfect. I'll probably just upgrade to that, and I probably won't upgrade my main flagship phone for years and years and years and years. I Even now, I plan on keeping this phone for like 4, 5, 6 years. I don't want to go back to a normal slab phone now that I have something that perfectly fits my needs. But yeah, a little bit of an update there. If this phone is still worth it in 2024, absolutely. And the good part is, I noticed it's much, much cheaper than it was when it first came out. I think when it first came out, it was like $1,600 or something like that. If you go on back market right now, or even a place that has like really good, just used versions of it, I've seen it for $1,200, for $1,300. Sometimes OnePlus actually has sales themselves, where they offer the phone at $1,300. So be on the lookout for that too. It's a great price, especially if we're talking about the competitors, which is the Z Fold and the Google Pixel Fold. That'll run you close to 2 grand. Yeah. So that's just my little update. If you're interested in the phone, I totally would recommend it. In regards to how good of a phone it is, just pray you don't get a model that breaks on you, because if it breaks on you, you're going to be pretty screwed with your customer service experience. But for the phone itself, just based off of just the review of the phone itself, the phone is awesome. That's why I have a little bit of a love hate with OnePlus. Phone is great if it doesn't break. Okay. Definitely would recommend some type of insurance plan as well for this phone if you are looking to get it, or if you already do have it. Okay. And that's really it for this review. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cool. Peace.